don't think I've seen this before, where you had a tag team of signings announced at the same exact time. And that is Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins getting signed, extended by the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase becoming the highest paid non-QB in NFL history. He's getting $40.25 million per year. Chase is getting over $28 million a year. A lot of things happening over these past couple of days. Things starting to move. And it really seems like the only thing we're waiting on now is Trey Hendrickson, who, according to Rossini, is talking to the Bengals. Apparently, the Bengals are having a chit-chat about maybe they're able to bring him back in. I don't know where that money's going to be found. Maybe, found the pot of gold for St. Patty's Day. And then, of course, we got to wait for Aaron Rodgers as well, who we're still waiting.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to get a deal done with Trey Hendrickson. Where are the Bengals at? I'm going to pull up their cap.
Bengals at
they're still they got 28 mil in cap right now.
Some things around.
I don't know, and that's going to be 26. They got 26 mil, 21 mil for T and Jamar. I don't know if those are finalized yet, but if I'm Tee Higgins, I don't know why the fuck I stayed with Cincinnati. Like, you see your teammate get a contract at the exact same time as you, and they're giving him 48 million more.
I mean, he's a better
you can live with that if it's the year before. Like, oh yeah, market went up, the contracts go up, but at the exact same time, you're like, damn, I'm really good too, and this guy's worth 58 million more to you guys than me.
I mean, yes, but
I'm talking about for his ego, nothing else.
Oh, got it.
Just the ego, like, oh.
I mean, he's the ninth highest paid wide receiver in the league right now. I think he's a top 10 paid wide receiver, which is, you look at some of these contracts, like even the Justin Jefferson contract, right? And how well that's going to age. You look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, and because he's 30 mil, I want to say, a year. I think. Hold on.
It's a lot. There's a lot of money out there. I think, in terms of the Bengals and what they're doing,
30.
I have no idea if this is great, if it's amazing, or if it's gonna, just lead to a similar season as they had last year. And I think that's the nice thing. If you're a Bengals fan, the worst case scenario is your team is fun, your offense is awesome, and you miss the playoffs barely because, your defense isn't great. But I think they added Oren Burks to that defense, which I like.
Yes.
And I think it's tough because we saw what this team is last year in this situation. And as long as they don't get off to the slow start, they should be okay for the next couple of years. And maybe in a few years, we're like, when these contracts are actually below market value, we're like, oh, the Bengals are in a great place. But you would have liked to stagger out Tee Higgins, Trey, and Jamar in how you pay them. It's odd because you see two things happening right now. There's a lot of praise, and there's a lot of people like, this is stupid. Ultimately, Joe Burrow, as an elite quarterback, has the two best receiving weapons in the league right now. He's got two better weapons than Mahomes. He's got two better weapons than Josh Allen. And the Bengals have to win in the playoffs next year for us to be like, okay, this was the right thing for them to do. And I hope it works because they are one of the more fun teams to watch. But we don't know. This is the biggest, I don't know if this is going to work.
So that's what I'm curious. What's your immediate take on this? Do you think that the contracts that were given out to both Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins, the Jamar Chase one, I understand 1 kajillion %.
Yeah.
You can make a very strong argument that he's the best receiver in the league. And if not, he's top 2, top 3. You can make a very strong argument. And the way that the market's going, he's going to get paid a lot of money. The Tee Higgins, I think the only thing I'm really questioning is the decision to bring them both back. Now, all that being said, if they bring back Trey Hendrickson, then it's okay, but just looking at where things are right this second, they're basically the same team that they were last year, right?
Yeah.
But as you just mentioned, get off to a faster start, could make the playoffs. There was times where, hey, like they were not only super competitive, they were beating good teams. And you got to hope that maybe like the offensive line is going to take another step. Mims is going to look better this season. Maybe they're able to hit a home run in the draft, and that'll make some things better. I'm curious what your take is on, like, right now, if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you bringing both those guys back for that money.
Yeah. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm happy. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm happy. I also get the critiques of it. The real issue, there's two big issues in my mind, and we've been working on a Bengals video, so I've thought about this shit probably more than I ever thought I'd be thinking about the Bengals. But if Tee Higgins gets hurt, which he hasn't stayed healthy fully, you know, he's never like these huge injuries, but Tee Higgins misses time every year, it feels like. Let me just double check. But the point is, like, if one of these guys get hurt, what's their depth? How do they fill that vacancy? The other part is, okay, if this was the Eagles doing this right now, we'd be like, fucking Howie Roseman, genius, 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 right? Like, they'll figure it out. We trust them.
Got it.
They have the history of trust. The Eagles, Howie Roseman does. The Bengals historically have done the opposite of what they are currently doing right now. So it's like, okay, you can pay these guys. The salary cap's going to continue to go up. You can make all these contracts work. Are they going to stick to that plan and continue to do it until the wheels fall off of Joe Burrow, right? Like, that's what you got to be willing to do. Is like, okay, we're going to dump money. We're going to put guaranteed money. We're going to pay the great players we do draft. We'll go get free agents when we need to. If this is the new way that they do things, then I like it. But historically speaking, and we're talking like 30 years of history,
correct,
we don't know if that's true yet. So when a team changes this hard, like the sharp turn is that significant, you don't know. But I think, if anything, maybe they finally learned their lesson. They are listening to Joe Burrow and appeasing a very talented quarterback, keeping him happy. And I will say this.
Appeasement has worked historically.
Well, I mean, I think it does work for top tier quarterbacks, because Carson Palmer, they pissed him off so bad he retired, right? Like, he literally retired until they traded him to the Raiders. They believed in Andy Dalton for far too long, but I think keeping Joe Burrow happy is a good thing. And then I think you've seen something where we thought Tee Higgins would be traded. We thought Trey Hendrickson would be traded, and it would have made a lot of sense. But both of those guys appear to be very committed to coming back to the Bengals. And I think the reason they want to come back is to play with Joe Burrow, and they like the team they have there. So I think there is some merit in keeping a guy like Joe Burrow happy and appeased, because I think he's different than, are you alluding to an Aaron Rodgers? Are you alluding to Aaron Rodgers?
Me, I was just saying historically, you know.
Are you alluding to Rodgers?
I'm not talking about just football. I'm saying in the history of the world. I mean, when has appeasement not worked?
Okay. I think the pieces of appeasement here are better, right? I think T and Jamar are better than so I don't know. Was it Cobb, Lazard, and eventually Devontae?